it was simple and clean and turned into a video game.
Yeah.
You know?
It's true. The visual novel for Simple and Clean. It's pod time, baby. It's back.
We back, and we back, and we back, and we back, and we back.
The song drop is going to be awfully early in this one. I'm realizing that's a thing now. That's a thing we do now.
Is it?
Is you sing part of a song and I just put it behind you?
I'm a very musical man.
Yeah.
Very musical.
I'm realizing that now.
I was in band for many years.
And so I am kind of wondering how long it's going to take for Father Warner Brothers to come knocking on our door.
I play 2 instruments.
Still flexing here. Okay.
No.
Let's flex.
Father WB is going to come and take you away, Chase.
Gonna have some words. We're going to start a new podcast at the first episode.
We're barely even doing like hit clips of these songs. Come on.
That's kind of what I wonder. Where's the free use? Are hit clips free use? Is that why? Can I just record a hit clips?
I don't know law. I don't know music law.
I don't know law. David, I come to you today ashamed.
Ashamed? Why?
Last episode, I mentioned that one of my spookiest moments in gaming, go listen to the episode, came from Resident Evil 2 when Nemesis was slinking around trying to get you.
That's Resident Evil 3, isn't it?
That's Resident Evil 3. I'm a fraud. I'm a fraud, David.
It's okay. I said Slamson was a dog, so.
But there's the amount of people who are going to know that Slamson is not a dog. It's restricted to the Sacramento audience.
That's fair. Yeah.
Which, if we're being real, is a significant portion of the audience. But
Sacktown Pride.
But anybody who's a real gamer, TM, a true hardcore gamer, they're going to know that Nemesis is not in Resident Evil 2. So I'm going to hand you my gamer card. It contains all my Xbox achievement points. And
oh my God.
And my original Wii Me on it as well.
Whoa. That's like giving me your soul.
I know.
That's
the
dangerous. Gamer equivalent of giving me your soul.
Yeah. It's dangerous. I know. But at some point, I'm going to need you to, once I've redeemed myself, you can rise me from my grave and bring me back to life.
Rise you from your grave, you say?
Yeah.
Real gamers will know the foreshadowing.
Only real gamers remember the foreshadowing we just did.
Wait, so speaking of Mii's, do you remember that PlayStation Home that they did, where they also had an avatar that was like hyper realistic, and Microsoft was somewhere in between the two?
It was like the physical space, yeah.
It was weird.
Yeah, that was not great.
That was a fail.
I was pretty hyped to get up in there, if I remember correctly. I was like, oh, this is going to be great. And then you kind of just walked around. There's nothing really to do.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of other just sort of standard vault dwellers hanging out, kicking it.
Yeah. Somehow less engaging than the Mii Plaza, which was just a bunch of Mii's hanging out.
The Mii Plaza had kind of a vibe to it. I mean, yeah, obviously the song. That chord? What are they doing? What even is that?
Some marimba shit.
What a bop, man.
They play with sound, with like how loud they're playing really well in that song. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
A lot of crescendos.
The texture of the music is rich.
And fortissimo pianos into crescendos.
Hello, it's Video Game Podtimism. It's the Optimist video game variety show where two best friends talk about the wonderful music of video games and the wonderful world of video games. My name is Chase, and my favorite Mii from the Wii was Jables.
Jables was terrifying.
That was a Davis creation.
Yeah. Oh, he's on my Wii.
Yeah, he's
haunts
infected.
My Wii.
He's a virus.
You've been infected with Jables. My name is David. My favorite Mii was Shaquille O'Neal.
Oh, yeah, you had a great Shaq. That's
Had a pretty good Shaq. He was just missing an Aaron Carter to dunk on him.
Damn true. The only one who can certainly beat Shaq.
That's how I beat Shaq.
I utter the phrase one-on-one with Shaquille O'Neal pretty often in my day-to-day. Are you for real? One-on-one with Shaquille O'Neal? Pretty frequently.
Elementary school banger.
Yeah, true.
That got all the kids hyped.
I need, okay, hold on. Current reference. I need William Eyelash to make a song about dunking on LeBron James.
Who is William Eyelash?
Billie Eilish? William Eyelash?
Oh my God.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah.
I had no idea what you were saying. See, that's how far removed I am from the youth culture nowadays.
I'm not far from it. I think Dwight from The Office said that in an interview to her, so.
William Eyelash?
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
David, have you been playing video games, the content of this podcast recently?
This is a video game podcast?
I guess. I'm not really
Are you sure it's
convinced.
not a music and Wii Plaza podcast?
It's the your standard buffoonery from every white guy who wants to do something during the pandemic. That's the content of
buffoonery.
You know, me and my friends have great banter. We should start a podcast.
That's how it goes. Hey, but we do have some solid banter.
We have solid banter, and most of all, we have podtimism, David.
It's true.
Nobody can say they have that.
The power of podtimism brings
it's the
us
way to
through.
look at gaming through the lens of optimism, which isn't a common thing to do. David, have you been playing video games?
I have been.
Which ones?
Divinity Original Sin.
Uno, cool.
Still haven't gone back to DOS. Just Uno.
Yeah, sure.
Playing through.
Treating you okay?
Still good.
Yeah.
The Witcher.
Yep.
Still good. And the new one this week.
Sweet. Fresh games.
Need for Speed Payback.
This is the one that was free on PlayStation Plus.
That's what keeps me going in this segment, baby. What keeps me interesting is those free PlayStation Plus games that I just play for like an hour or two, and I'm like, I'm good.
That is an okay video game.
It is the definition of okay, I think.
Yeah,
it's
tell me about this.
Very okay.
I looked at downloading this and I guess decided against it, or my inaction decided against it.
You're not missing much.
Okay.
I mean, it's engaging enough. You get to be in a virtual version of Las Vegas. There's a gang of... It's essentially like if Need for Speed... like a Need for Speed movie. Or not Need for Speed movie. A Fast and the Furious movie is what I meant to say.
Yeah.
Like one of the original ones where they're more like outlaw...
A little
thieves.
more grounded.
Yeah, a little more grounded. And it wasn't like The Rock flexing off a cast. Which was ridiculous, by the way.
Did he really do this thing?
Yeah, and he said... He was in the hospital and his daughter was there, and he says daddy's got to go to work, and then flexes an arm cast off, like a plaster cast off of his arm, and he's gone. He's out.
Wow.
Those are some beautiful movies. Beautiful films.
So it's okay.
It's okay. I mean, it looks good. The driving's okay. The voice acting is bad.
Okay.
The voice acting is bad. They're really trying to put a story into this one.
Yeah.
And... yeah, the voice acting is not to be desired. It just feels very flat and forced, and doesn't feel like these people were even like in the same recording studio when they made it. They just kind of recorded them individually and then just got them mashed all together.
Yeah.
The characters are pretty boring. It's another one of those games where you just play as generic young white guy. Mm-hmm. You know, just not compelling or different or unique whatsoever.
Yeah.
Very straightforward. But the driving's pretty good. I mean, doesn't reinvent the wheel or anything. You have nitrous, you have drifting, you have sports cars with spoilers that are modified. It's Need for Speed. Yeah, it's
Need
fine.
for Speed.
It's like the most mediocre game I played in a while. And that's not to say it's bad. It's just like...
it's boilerplate. There's not a lot going on in there.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like, saying you ate a peanut butter and jelly sandwich for lunch. Like,
it gave me nutrients.
It gave me nutrients. It can't really be bad because it's a peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
I am no longer hungry.
But it's not like, oh my God, that was the greatest peanut butter and jelly sandwich I've ever had. It's the most unique peanut butter and jelly sandwich I ever had.
Sure.
It was just pretty regular. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
What have you been playing?
Let's see. Couple of things. I beat Hades.
Nice.
Which left quite the hole in my life because I realized I was playing that just like all the time.
Sounded like it. Sounded like you were pretty obsessed.
Yeah, it was quite a good game.
Mm-hmm.
I was really into that. And I'm not sure that I'm totally done with it. Like the driving factor of wanting to beat it isn't quite there, but like the narrative has resolved, at least in the main thrust of it. But the mechanics are still very fun, so it's not like I'm interested in playing more of it. It's just like it's kind of finished.
Cool.
So yeah, good lord, phenomenal game. So that was cool. I played for like a hot second Tales of Vesperia.
Tales of Vesperia. I've heard of this. What is this?
That's one of the games in the Tales series. Like Tales of Symphonia, I think was the one that I played a little bit more of.
They're like action RPGs, right?
They sort of. It's like it goes into kind of a active battle system whenever you get into an encounter. But the combat is pretty, I don't know, it's timed out in a way such that like it is active in that when you press attack, you attack. But like there's a certain sense that like, I don't know, I felt like when I was playing that like you're committed to an attack and you can only attack so quickly, and there's enough of a cooldown on your like attack and specials that it ends up kind of playing out like an RPG, like a traditional one, given that like, okay, I've attacked now, I have such a long cooldown between being able to attack and move again or block that I'm kind of open right now, which leaves a lot of room for people to come in and get you. So like it's active in the sense that you can move around. There's like a little bit of free roam in the battle, but it feels like it's still tied at its core to like kind of turn-based stuff.
Okay.
Which isn't a bad thing. And I think I enjoyed that a lot more when it first came out, but at this point I'm kind of seeing the bones of what's going on in there.
So what keeps you from just running away from the other characters when you're in cooldown?
Say you start a battle. Initially, you can kind of free roam in a little circle of an arena that they give you. And you can avoid people for any amount of time, which is like a fair strategy. Like they can't catch you, and usually they can't attack you. You can block. So you can kind of wait out somebody's attack if you know that they're going to be like super aggressive or something. But once you attack and do like a combo, there's enough cooldown at the end of the combo that once the other person's done being hit, they have a lower cooldown, and so you can smash them up real good.
Okay.
Or you can get smashed up real good, I should say.
Okay. And the cooldown is like, you can't move afterwards?
You can't move, you can't block, you can't attack, you can't do anything.
Okay.
So like,
it's not just a move cooldown. You'd have to like stop moving.
Yeah, so like after your attack, you're just like very vulnerable.
Gotcha. Got it.
Yeah, so it essentially plays out kind of turn-basedy. The pace is snail. It's very
snail
slow.
Pace snail.
I think this is typical of JRPGs, especially from that era. There's just a lot of filler in there. That's again, I only say that just because I'm playing another RPG right now, which I'll talk about in a second, but like the pace of it's just like, it feels like there's nothing that isn't necessary in there. It's all driving towards the story or some fun little interaction or something like that, but
it's all got a point.
It's all got a point, and like I get that. Maybe there's an argument to be made that all of the things in Tales of Vesperia have a point, but like so much of it's just like anime nonsense. Like they're just going back and forth and talking about nothing. Like I don't need this.
Just some very esoteric opinions about life and God and the universe
and some crystals, I guess. I don't know.
And some crystals, I guess. Perfect.
So I think I'll probably keep playing it just because it's on the Switch and like I can just kind of poke at it, but it's not particularly lighting me on fire with excitement. However, the game that is doing that is Ikenfell or Ikenfell. I'm not sure exactly how to say it, but I think it's Ikenfell.
Was this your indie game of the week?
It is, but holy moly.
Chase's indie game of the week.
This game is fucking phenomenal. I'm so into this game. I give it a 5 out of 5. Thank you, Adam
That was
Sessler.
great. That was really good.
Thank you. It's the pause that really makes it. His tempo is what makes Adam Sessler.
It's just like, is he going to say out of 5?
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe it's out of 10 now.
So anyway, yeah, this so the premise behind this game is how do I describe this? You're essentially a young girl who is looking for her sister. Her sister goes to like wizard school. And so you've showed up at where you think wizard school is. And then that's kind of the main thrust of the beginning.
Okay.
It's so goddamn good. The battle system is super duper fun. It's like kind of based on a 3 by maybe 10 grid.
Ooh, got grids. Chase is all about them grids.
Got grids. It looks like Mega Man Battle Network when you're fighting. It's not an active battle system though. It's semi-active.
Okay.
So like you play as any of these people and you run up and like can attack people or cast any amount of spells or something like that. And they're also moving around on the battlefield on their turn. Yeah, so like you have to be a certain distance away from people. You have like AoE attacks and shit like that if there's like a ton of people on the field. They slowly introduce like a bunch of characters to you, and each of them have like very distinct spells that you have to master and like get good at. And it is like the like Mario and Luigi games or Paper Mario or any Super Mario RPG as well, wherein is if you like time your like button press with the attack, it'll like do a little extra damage or whatever. So like the main person you play as, they have like this fire attack, and there's like a ring that closes around the bad guy, and if you hit it right when it gets to like the center of the ring, then you'll do a bunch of extra damage and shit like that.
Okay.
So the mechanics of it are really good. I also love that the numbers in the game are very small. Like your health pool is only like 20 hit points or 10 hit points or something like that.
Okay.
And the damage you're doing is also like 5 damage or something like that. And so it gives a lot of weight to each increment of the damage or health. Yeah. So like if you are, start doing 2 or 3 extra damage, you're like, damn, I got a lot of power just now. And so it lends itself to little incremental progressions, I guess. Such that like when you level up or get better gear, it's like you can really feel it. It has a lot of Undertale in it. Just in the sense that like the mechanics are good. It kind of looks like that in the overworld. Like it looks a little like not basic, but fairly simplistic. But it's also like surprisingly deep in its mechanics, and like the story is really good. And then not to mention like the characters are just fucking great. Everybody in there is super cool. The like makeup of the like cast of characters is really interesting. There's not a cis white dude in the crowd of them, so that's kind of a fucking
very different than
breath of fresh air. Yeah,
because Need for Speed they had cis white dude, happy-go-lucky black guy,
sure,
tough as nails girl.
Yep, that's all of them. That's it.
And that was it. that's the heist movie trio right there. Sorry, continue.
Yeah, so like I just feel like all the people in there, like I don't know, I believe who they are in a certain sense. It's got a little bit of Celeste too, of like people's mental struggles are a large part of the story, and that's like a pretty interesting part of it to me. Makes them feel really very like well realized.
Celeste is so good.
Celeste is so goddamn good.
Man, that's a good game.
I also don't know that I've seen a ton of gender non-binary folks in video games, and there are a few in here, and like it's treated so casually, and it's not the main focal point of the story at all. Another breath of fresh air of just like
that's the way to do it.
That's the way to do it. Like here's some representation, and also it's like not that big of a deal. Like it's not this whole character's identity.
Exactly.
They have like a personality outside of it. So I think it's pretty well written in that way too. So
that's good.
I'm loving it. Like the story keeps me going with enough. Like it's fucking magic school, bro. It's good Hogwarts. It's Hogwarts.
Good Hogwarts.
Well, because, JK's fucking turf and terrible. So
she's canceled. That's right.
She's a huge bummer.
So you're not going to get the Harry Potter RPG?
No, but this, I don't know. Is money going to JK, bro? I don't want it to go to JK.
I mean, she owns Harry Potter, so probably some of it will, I would think.
Oh, man.
At least they can't. They at least had to pay her for the rights to use the property. I don't know if the sales from the game will go there, but...
Yeah. Maybe I'll just say that this is
This is Harry Potter.
Yeah, because it is very good.
Iken Potter.
So it's pretty fucking phenomenal. I'm so interested in the story. The mechanics keep me going. And I think I'm like 10 hours into it, and it has not felt like that long.
Damn.
Yeah.
It's a good game.
It's a good game. Which will bring me to, David, my pontimistic thing of the week.
And that is?
It's a semi-active battle system.
It's a very specific one.
Yes, it is the RPG battle system where when you hit attack, you can hit A for a little extra damage.
There you go.
So far, it's this and Mario and Luigi and Paper Mario and Super Mario RPG. Those are the ones that I can think of off the top of my head.
It's all Mario.
It's a lot of Mario. I'm surprised that it honestly hasn't shown up in other games before.
No. Oh my god.
No, I think Panzer Dragoon, isn't it?
No, The Legend of Dragoon.
Yes, yeah.
The Legend of Dragoon had that.
That's true. I think it did, yeah. There's a handful of them that do it, but it's pretty rare. I think you can do it a little bit in Final Fantasy VIII. Like if you time... Oh, God, what's the guy's name?
Squall?
Cloud. Squall. You can time his like sword gun shots, and it'll do a little extra damage. So I feel like it's in there, but it's not a very often utilized mechanic. But man, I really enjoy them. I don't know why.
Yeah, it's always good.
Yeah, I've also enjoyed those Mario and Luigi games for quite some time. So
yeah, it just gives you that little bit of extra investment in the battle itself.
Yeah, you kind of can't go on autopilot. You can't just attack, and be done with it.
Exactly. You have to. It forces you to, or at least gives you incentive to really be into it more, which is nice because I feel like those turn-based strategy games or turn-based RPGs always just kind of after like hour 20, I get pretty bored.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Ikenfell does it really well too, because like all of the spells act a little different. And so not every like timing of hitting A is the same, right? Like one person has like a lot of telekinetic powers, and the other person has like a lot of ice powers or alchemic powers or fire powers. And so each of the prompts is pretty different. The timings are all different. So you can't just like, oh, well, I got the jump and the hammer, so I'm good.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's pretty well realized.
Good. Nice.
Do you have something fueling your sense of podtimism, David?
I do.
What is it?
And that is a good NOS.
Good NOS. Hell yeah.
A
Fucking
good
flip that
NOS.
button. Hit the big red button, buddy.
Flip that NOS, baby. Hit it. Hit that jump extra hard.
Get that boost.
Go just a little bit further.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
good for you. But I think what I really love about a good NOS, or just a good speed boost in a game, is that until you do it, you have no idea what is actually going to happen. There's always that element of fear.
Just how fast.
How much of a turn can I be doing when I press this? Will I go over this cliff if I press my button with just like a little bit of a turn in my car right now? You never
each
know.
game is different. It's all going to treat NOS a little bit differently.
Is this going to be like a mushroom NOS? Or is this going to be like a Need for Speed
mushroom NOS? I've never thought about the mushroom in Mario Kart as NOS.
Oh, that mushroom is NOS.
It is NOS.
That's NOS, baby.
That's some nitrous oxide.
Yeah. That's a boost.
It's boost, yeah.
They're throwing those mushrooms inside their little engine and it just combusts into this explosion.
Blows up real quick, yeah.
Because they're psychedelic and they have chemicals in them. So those same mushrooms Mario and Luigi eat to become big.
True.
Whoa. Mushrooms are powerful.
It's canon.
But yeah, a good NOS is always fun. Need for Speed Underground.
I was just going to say, that's the king of NOS, isn't it?
There's a lot of songs today.
Yin Yang Twins are not going to allow us to use that song.
Can you just do like a second of it? Just do that. Just everyone would know what it is.
Yeah.
You know?
I'll just do that part. We'll see who the true fans are.
Good.
Are you a real Yin Yang head?
Are you a Yang head?
John Boys? Lil Jon was in there, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was. Yeah, he was like the real draw of the song, wasn't he? Wasn't it a Lil Jon song?
Oh no, it wasn't the Yin Yang Twins. It was the East Side Boys.
The East Side.
Wait. Get low. Feet Yin Yang Twins. Are the Yin Yang Twins the East Side Boys?
I got no idea.
The East Side Boys. Who are the fucking East Side Boys?
I know one of the East Side Boys. Just know the one. I know the East Side Boy.
Get Low featured fellow Atlanta hip-hop group Yin Yang Twins and became popular in nightclubs nationwide. My friend, who are the East Side Boys?
There's got to be a Wikipedia on them, right?
That's what I thought. It just led me to Lil Jon's Wikipedia. Long before Lil Jon named himself the King of Crunk, he had dreams of ascending the throne with childhood friends Big Sam and Lil Bo, who I believe are the East Side Boys. The East Side Boys was originally formed in 1997 with John at the helm. Their debut album, Get Crunk, Who You Wit, the album, was released after the popularity of their first nationwide single hit, Bia Bia. In 2002, the group followed up with the release of Kings of Crunk, made popular by the single I Don't Give a Ellipsis, featuring Mystical and Crazy Bone. Crazy Bone is a name.
Crazy Bone.
It's spelled so fun. It's Krayzie. Crazy Bone.
That's pretty crazy. Is Bone regular?
Bone's regular. This is so far away from what we were talking about.
We're talking about a good NOS. This is definitely within the realm of a good NOS.
That's fair. Has there been any other good NOSes? These are not in like the driving simulator games.
I mean, I would say any boost in a racing game I consider a NOS.
Sure. Yeah.
Personally. Right?
Yeah.
So...
Did they have one in Need for Speed Most Wanted? I feel like there was.
I feel like every Need for Speed had one.
Yeah, they did. There was a stint there where NOS was like part of their
ethos.
Part of their game, yeah.
Definitely Burnout had a boost.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Burnout had a big time boost in there. Mario Kart we touched on.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like there was a plane game I played that had a boost. Almost every plane game has an afterburner, right? Where you can boost.
A lot of them
quick.
do, yeah. At least those like arcadey ones that were coming out at the time.
Yeah.
That's fine. That's a lot of good boosting. A good NOS, man. It's true. It takes a good racing game to a great racing game.
It's exciting. It's exciting.
Do you want to move on to our main thing, David?
We probably should.
Cool. I forgot to mention, but it is Spooky Month still.
Sure is.
And with that, we've returned to good games, David.
I'm spooked solid right now.
I'm spooked so solid. It is the segment where we talk about the okayest games of yesteryear and gush about the things that we love about them and maybe reimagine what they would look like today.
Ooh, this is going to be a fun one to reimagine. I know,
yeah. This is interesting.
Shit.
So we're going to do good games. And we're maybe going to do a little blending of segments here because I've got a couple of farts I'd like to sniff here at the end of this one.
Oh, all right.
Yeah. The game we are talking about, what's the spookiest song you can think of?
The spookiest song I can think of?
Yeah.
Did I say the spookiest thong? The spookiest song I can think of.
What is both the spookiest song and the spookiest thong you can think of?
Thong would probably be like an orange thong with like a bat on it.
Oh. That's quite frightening. Yeah, that sent me to another place.
What other place did it send you to, Chase?
The fan fiction of Hocus Pocus, I think, is where I went pretty directly.
There? Oh, all right. All right.
You know?
Yeah, and then the spookiest song, probably the first 30 seconds of Who Dat Boy.
Ooh, yeah, fair enough. So I had an answer in my mind, but there is very spooky vibes in Who Dat Boy.
Oh, yeah.
I was hoping you would say Thriller because
that one's pretty good too.
The game in question takes a lot from Thriller.
It sure does.
A lot of bestial transformations. We're talking about Altered Beast today.
Rise from your grave.
I imagine I'm just going to have to keep that soundbite like ready at any moment during this part because it's a big deal.
Most definitely.
Let's get into it, but before we do, I want to give you some
Hot Stats.
This game came out a couple of times.
Really?
I'm assuming that we are talking about the Sega Genesis version.
That's the one I know, yeah.
Okay, perfect, because that's the one I did research on. Mm-hmm. So that version came out August 8th of 1989.
1989?
Yeah.
This predates both of us.
It does, yeah.
My goodness. This is the oldest game we've done.
I think it is, actually.
Yeah.
So I didn't know this, but apparently it was it was a package deal with the Genesis, the Sega Genesis.
Really?
Yeah, so like a lot of the time...
It was a bundle.
It was a bundle. And that like you didn't have to get it with that, but I think it was one of those like launch bundles where a lot of them were selling with Altered Beast. Mm-hmm. I think later they would go on to do just like Sonic, but at that time they were shipping Altered Beast with it. I think because it was like pretty for the time. Like it looked a lot different than the NES. So you're like, ooh, that's a nice looking game. I think that's also why a lot of people had Altered Beast laying around, because like if you bought a Genesis or if you had like an older sibling or something who had one, chances are they probably had a copy of Altered Beast. Mm-hmm. It is developed by Team Shinobi, who made Alien Storm, Shinobi, Altered Beast, Shadow Dancer, and of course Golden Axe.
Ooh, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I see that for sure.
There's a couple of character designs in this and Golden Axe, and I'm like, is that the same thing? Is that the same monster?
Probably at least a little shopped. Yeah.
I do have a review from our friends at Joe Video. This is funny. So this game was reviewed pretty badly.
Really?
People really did not love this game.
Oh.
Like it's kind of sitting at like a 50 or a 60.
Oh, dang. All right.
I know. Normally, Joe Video is usually the most negative opinion on a video game. Joe Video was super fucking down for Altered Beast.
Really?
I thought that was such a treat. But yeah, I've translated one of their reviews a bunch of times through Google Translate and mangled it beyond recognition, which I am now going to read. So let's hear what Joe Video had to say. Quote, kind of. The first games, consisting of split Mega Drives, Beasts, have become classic versions over time. The game also has a cohesive mind, indicating that action moves across the table. I apologize for struggling with my weakness in the big games, but it was also the control panel among our people and the two kinds of eyes from that era that gave us joy. 80 out of 100.
The two kinds of eyes from that era that gave us joy. Is that what it said?
It did. Sometimes Joe Video gets pretty wild with these reviews once it's been translated 100 times.
That should be a motivational poster.
I apologize for struggling with my weakness in the big games.
That's definitely what like YouTube video gamers or streamers will say, like if they're not hitting every headshot. I'm sorry, guys. I'm so sorry.
This is my weakness in the big games. That's
I'm so
all that's
bad.
going on.
I'm trash.
Could you explain to me what the mechanics of Altered Beast are?
It is a side-scroller beat-em-up with some special powers mixed in there when you become a beast of varying different types. You can be a werewolf beast, you can be a werebear beast, you can be a... Isn't there like a dragon beast?
There's a dragon, yeah.
There's a couple other ones, aren't there?
So the first level is the werewolf. The second one is the dragon. Third one, I think, is the bear. Mm-hmm. I feel like the last level is just another werewolf.
The werewolf was pretty cool.
It was. I think it was like a little bit like colored differently in the last level, but I think that was one of them. I think there's only 5 levels. I'm not positive about that.
It's not a long game.
No.
Yeah, but it was tough. As a kid, I remember it was pretty tough.
Yeah, I think that's most of the mechanics. That's it. Like
side scroller, you can shoot some projectiles, you can jump, you can crouch, you can go into different like spots on the level, but yeah, it's pretty much just walk up to the dude, beat him up, don't get hit.
The farts may start soon, and the sniffing of the farts may start soon. But what makes this game cool, David? Let's talk about that. What do we want to gush about Altered Beast?
Wise from your grave.
Wise from your grave is definitely a big part of why I like this game.
That really just set the tone so
it's immediate.
Hard.
It's right out of the gate.
You're just like, okay, I'm some undead dude, and I'm gonna go F some shit up because this wizard says so. Okay.
It's got a very heavy metal vibe to it.
It does. It's very heavy metal.
Yeah.
It's very heavy metal. Like you're just some undead man who just goes around and then he turns into a werewolf and you just start really beating the shit out of people. Well, not people, monsters. Sorry.
Monsters, yeah, like zombies and werewolves and stuff.
Yeah.
The process of turning into these characters is incredible. Mm-hmm. You like get little power up buttons. The guy looks at the camera as some narrator says, "Power up." And then
yeah, does he like he looks at the camera and is like, yeah, power up.
Yep. And his at every one of those he gets slightly more ripped at every time. Mm-hmm. So like the first one, his shirt rips open because his like pecs and his abs are so fucking huge. The second one, he gets like beyond like plus ultra. Like he's just thick.
Beyond plus ultra. Oh my god.
Thick, dude. And then finally, with the third one, you turn into whatever beast is on that level, and you just like rip shit in that one.
Power up.
Power up. It's
like some dude who's just been like lifting heavy weights, just got off the squat rack, and they just recorded that voice line right then. It's pretty much what it sounded like.
It's true. So yeah, the transformation I thought was a very cool mechanic, especially like this came out in '89, man. Like this is an older game.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think like any physical change in the character that you're playing in older games, I felt like was like, oh man, this is crazy.
Impressive. Yeah.
Yeah. So that was certainly cool. Plus the like little animation of you turning into another dude is pretty fun. Yeah. There's it looks like the cover of Animorphs where there's like a bunch of in-between stages.
Oh, Animorphs, damn.
Hell yeah. Let's see, what other things are gushable about this?
I was going to say, I like the art style.
Yeah, it's interesting. And I looked at a bunch of different versions of the game. Like, it got released a bunch of places. Mm-hmm. And, like, the art style is different between most of them. I'd say this one and the arcade are definitely, like, the best-looking versions.
Yeah, because it definitely, like, popped, I feel. But at least the characters in the foreground did. Mm-hmm. And it had a good, what is that? What is that word you used?
Parallax.
Parallax. Has a good use of parallax, right? It has some depth to the levels.
Background moving a little bit slower in the foreground.
Yeah, so it gave you a good sense of place, I felt. and I thought the enemies were cool. And I remember that last boss on that first level is emblazoned in my mind. I still don't really know what it is.
It's like some like just massive dude who's like throwing his heads out at you or whatever.
He's like a head tree or something like that. An undead head tree.
The character designs were pretty fun. I thought that like that boss is pretty interesting, and like a lot of the bosses are like, whoa, that's wild. The second one's just like a bunch of eyeballs.
They look pretty cool.
Yep.
And yeah, that's something else I liked about the game.
It has big Jason and the Argonauts energy to me.
Jason and the Argonauts.
That like old movie where dude just fights like skeleton warriors made out of clay. Just so fucking metal and cool. I love all that shit. Like, yeah, like all the little zombie dogs and like the dudes in purple cloaks coming after you, and the guy who turns into like a head, and then you have to go fight him and all that sort of shit. It's great. It's got such a vibe to it.
It does have a very big vibe to it.
Yeah.
It has a huge vibe. Something else I liked was the different power-ups you get. At each level, you could play a little differently because you got different skills.
Yeah, fairly varied in the way that it lets you approach it.
Yeah.
I don't know if the difficulty is something that's good, but it's interesting. I like that it's like not a long game. I watched somebody beat it today and it took them 13 minutes.
Damn.
It's not a long game. Like if you don't get hit, if you know what to look for and like know the enemy patterns, it doesn't take you very long at all.
Sure.
So
that makes sense.
It's a very beatable game if you know it.
I was like 5 when I played this game, so
that's kind of the problem is I was fairly young as well, and I was like, this game is fucking hard.
Yeah. I was like, I got to the second level. There's more levels after this first level.
Yeah.
Well,
actually, let's first do this. What's this game look like if it comes out today?
It'd be cool if they made it into like a Hollow Knight. Like instead of making it a side scroller, make it like a big Altered Beast connected world, and like and then like different areas you get different power ups to become different beasts.
Yeah,
and they act as like your skills.
That's a pretty good idea.
That'd be fun.
That'd be pretty fun. Damn. Okay, got it in one.
Altered Beast Knight, Altered Knight Beast,
Altered Beasts.
Altered Beasts. My God, I want Silk Song so bad. Sorry.
Oh my God, dude, please,
continue.
Please. I need Silk Song so goddamn badly.
Oh,
maybe let me lay some of these questions on you first, so maybe we can imagine what's going to happen. So this game was reviewed very poorly.
Yeah,
like 50 to 60 out of 100 is not a great game. And I like sort of understand why. I'm not going to maybe indulge in that too much because, you know, it's Video Game Podtimism, the Optimist video game variety show.
Hey, that's the tagline.
That's us. But I get why a lot of people say that it's not a super great game. It's fairly short and kind of repetitive, and like, you know, it's hard as fuck. Like the game is very, very difficult. There's also a certain amount of like campiness to it that I could see it being interpreted as cheesy, but I really enjoy.
Yeah.
There's also a consensus sort of online. Like I see a lot of people gushing about this game. Like a lot of people remember Altered Beast as like, oh yeah, I love that game. And so there's this weird disconnect between how it's reviewed, also an acknowledgement that it may not be that good of a game, but people are still like very fond of it. And so like I was thinking about this, and like it sort of fits the description for like a cult game, right? Like a niche game. There's a handful of those. I know that like the movie industry talks about that a little bit more than games do.
Sure.
I sort of like, I would put it into that category, but I've started to think about like what makes a cult game and what makes a good cult game.
Okay.
What's some shit that kind of comes to mind when you think about games that maybe like are cult games?
Gameplay that's either shallow or janky, in some ways being uncompromising into their vision. Yeah. Maybe even to the detriment of the game.
Yeah.
Like really going all in on like a vibe or a single type of mechanic or something like that.
Yeah.
That is either like you don't like it or you just fucking love it, you know?
Yeah, fair.
I mean, definitely like specific IPs will always have cult followings that will make, even if it's like a mediocre game, their fans will love it. Right.
Fucking Dynasty Warriors. All the Dynasty heads.
Warriors. Aren't they putting one out for PS5 at launch?
I'm sure they are.
It's so ridiculous. So ridiculous. I guess just in a way, probably at the essence, it would be that the shortcomings of the game seem to not detract from the funness of the game.
Sure.
And I think that's really what it comes down to.
Yeah. I sort of thought about this and kind of broke it down into like 3 categories, at least in my own head. And I think it lines up with what you're saying. Essentially, there's like games that didn't sell super well, but are actually very competently made. So like Psychonauts or Bully or something like that.
Sure.
Where it's like the game is still very fun, just didn't sell all that well.
Yeah.
Or like Beyond Good and Evil, or like Papers, Please, even like indie games. I feel like a lot of the time would match this description of like there's a lot of talent in the game making, but it wasn't a hit, right?
Yeah.
And then there's like games that are like genuinely buggy or like hard to play, but that like it's enjoyed by a certain like group of people. Mm-hmm. So like Fallout 76 at launch comes to mind, where like there's some people who enjoy this game quite a bit, but they've kind of, I don't know, like there's an acknowledgement that this isn't a very good game. It's not a particularly fun game necessarily.
Yeah.
Like Premonition or Deadly Premonition comes to mind. Even like Cory in the House or something like that.
Cory in the House.
It's a bad game, but it's so ridiculous that people have sort of enjoyed it. And then there's this third category that I think about, which are games that are not like traditionally good by like metrics that we set out, right? They may not be fun all the time, but like there's parts of it that the community around them really enjoy.
Yeah.
Which is like our bread and butter in this section.
Totally. Yeah.
Which I have named the Podtimism games as profiles and entertainment zone.
Podtimism games as profiles and entertainment?
In an entertainment zone, which you could shorten to the Podtimism gape zone if you wanted to.
The gape zone?
I don't see any problems with that, so that's fine.
You've made my day, Chase. You've made my day.
It's the Podtimism gape zone right here, buddy. So I was trying to think about like what makes those games, right?
Sure.
There's a couple things I came to in sort of mulling this over.
Okay.
One is tone.
Tone zone?
Tone zone.
Yep.
Like that the game isn't necessarily good, but thinking about the game, booting it up, watching it, enjoying it, like puts you in a certain time and place. And not just like nostalgia wise, but booting up Altered Beast and hearing Bro scream Rise from Your Grave is like, that's fucking wicked.
It gets me hyped up.
It gets me hyped up. It's fun. Like it's cool.
Yeah.
I don't know that the game is particularly fun, but everything else around it is particularly like hypeful. It's interesting.
Totally. Yeah.
And like, let's maybe take a different example. Kingdom Hearts. It's not the most fun game all the time, but the vibe, dude.
The
fucking vibe.
Bro. You vibe hard in that game. You're either.
I think that one is like maybe the pinnacle of vibey games. So
Kingdom Hearts 1 at least. 2 at least had some good gameplay to back it up.
Yeah.
But 1, was.
One lived
really
and breathed on the
vibe.
like emo vibe that they had going on there.
It was simple and clean and turned into a video game.
Yeah.
You know?
It's true. The visual novel for simple and clean. So I'm gonna. I wrote down quite a sniffy comment here.
Let's hear it. Vintage.
So the other interpretation is that games like this that are potentially not very good, but elicit a certain response, are games as art before that was really a thing. That what's her name? Marcel Duchamp. The, I don't know. For all the non art sniffy heads out there, it's the person who put the urinal in an art gallery and said, "Look, it's art."
Jackson Pollock?
Kind of, yeah, right. Like there's a dissonance to the art, and it's essentially asking like, is this what you think it is, or like, is this the medium that we're doing here? And Altered Beast, like usually video games, I think the main thing you're trying to make it is fun.
Yeah.
Like that is usually the goal of the game.
Yeah.
But recently specifically, and I know that like a lot of games have been doing this in the past 5 to 10 years, but fun is sometimes something that you aren't always going for. The Last of Us 2 comes to mind.
I was about to say Last of Us 2.
It's kind of a painful game, but I kept playing it, and it's like an interesting experience because that's exactly what they were going for, right? Like they weren't trying to make every part of that game fun. A lot of it was painful and kind of difficult to get through. And so like, are we going to count this kind of game in there as well, where the game isn't necessarily fun, but there's something else that people have found of value in there? And is the developer kind of putting that forth and then like allowing us to kind of steep in that idea? Is that valuable or interesting in some way?
Sure.
And then if so, what is the value of Altered Beast?
What is the value of Altered Beast?
Because it's I would agree that it's not a fun game. The things that we talked
punishing.
about were the vibe and Rise from Your Grave and the art being fucking cool and the guy when he powers up his shirt rips off and shit like that. So like what is that? It's hard for me to even put a finger on like what part of that is enjoyable.
Kind of like a metal, scary power fantasy.
Yes, but I wouldn't even agree that it's a power fantasy because I get my ass kicked whenever
That's true. That's true.
But like, I guess just like that world is pretty interesting, as simple as it is.
Yeah, because it just leaves a lot unsaid. You know, about what's going on. Why am I wising from my grave? What is my motivation here?
Yeah.
But it's so simple
and clean
and clean in its exposition that it just makes you realize that you don't really need a whole lot of exposition for a game like this, I guess. You just need to get into it and be a werewolf fighting zombies. Because if you say, my game is werewolves fighting zombies, you're going to say, that sounds like an awesome game. Yes. Right, but how do you get there? Does the getting there matter as much as the end product of being there?
Yeah, maybe what we may be trying to poke at is that the premise and the ideas in a lot of these games are very good, and that cult games can kind of steep in that area despite not being very good. Right?
Like, this is a great idea, but your execution was bad.
Yeah.
Or poor, mediocre, whatever. Like Enter the Matrix.
Yeah.
It's always what I think of. Like, this could be such a good game, but it just wasn't quite there, but I still love it for some reason. Yeah. It's still, it's good enough. It's good enough, and it gives me scratches that itch for me.
I think when we are reviewing games, that whenever GamePro publishes their next magazine or next edition, that in addition to fun factor and sound, there should be vibes. I need a vibes column.
Wait, no, there was fun factor, there was sound, there was graphics.
Yep.
And there was
gameplay?
Gameplay? Was it gameplay or was it controls? So it's graphics, sound, control, fun factor.
I need vibes in this area.
Vibes.
Let's walk down the list, right? The controls in Altered Beast. Fine. It's you turn on a dime and you kick and punch. Like, what else do you want?
Yeah.
The graphics are pretty good. It's good for Genesis. What was the other one? Fun factor and what else?
Sound, graphics, control, fun factor.
The sound is bad, but I love it.
It's bad in a
very good way.
Yeah, it's like a so good it's bad type of sound.
Yes.
Like, who is this person that they paid to do this voiceover as the wizard?
And why did they run it through a potato before they put it into the video game? It sounds so bad.
Okay.
So I think, to put a pin in it, that there is potentially more value than we give just like to fun games. And that's a lot of like this section of our podcast in general. It's a lot of our podcast in general.
Yeah.
Is let's look for the value in games that aren't traditionally good.
Yeah, I don't always care about how tight these controls are, how good this level design is. A game can be good in other ways, right?
Yeah.
All games are beautiful in their own way, guys. Please.
But there's at least something to appreciate in there, right? Like, the Rise from Your Grave sound clip is enough for this game to be worth it.
I'd say so. I'm glad it exists just for that.
Me too. Yeah. Would I pay $60? I don't know about that, but I love it all the same.
What about for Altered Beasts?
Altered Beasts is compelling. Did you know that there was an Altered Beast that came out for PlayStation 2? It was like a different game.
Really?
Yeah. It was made by the same company that made the original.
Really? I had no idea. For the PS2?
I didn't know either. Do you have anything else that you need to say about Altered Beast?
It was tight.
It was tight. The video game is tight.
No matter how bad the gameplay was, it was still tight.
Still pretty tight. True. Okay, great.
That's it.
David.
Yes.
We are on Twitter. We are at Podtimism if you would like to say hello.
Perfect.
We're out there. We're in it.
Send us your best spook.
Yeah, give me your best spook. I would love to see it.
Let's hear it. See it.
We got a message from a old classmate of mine, Francisco. he was mentioning that we did not put Slender in our top 5 spookiest games, which we did mention a little bit, but I do agree that it's a little bit of a slight to Slender, because that was pretty terrifying. That game was very spooky.
Slender was good. It was very much like a vibe of the moment. Like, it definitely played off of Slender Man being just like this weird, popular. This meme, this popular meme.
That's true.
Right, but it was a very spooky game. I definitely considered it for my top 5, but it just didn't quite make the cut for me personally. It's
true. But yeah, if you would like to come leave some of your comments, questions, concerns, cookies. In our, I think that's something my pre-algebra teacher said at Churchill Middle School. Go Bulldogs.
Go Bulldogs. Is that your saying, Bulldogs? Is this Bulldogs?
I just did the horns, because why not?
All right.
Yeah.
Shout out Churchill Bulldogs.
So yeah, go hang out with us if you would like to support the show in some way. If you're getting value out of these conversations we have, and the farts that we sniff, and the beasts that we alter.
Sound like there's an altered beast in your house that just a second ago.
I believe that's trying to hear what the content of the conversation is. Emily Alice is watching The Bachelorette, so there may actually be some beast altering going on back there.
Oh my god!
She may be turning into a werewolf given the viewership. Anyway, so if you'd like to support the show in some way, if you're getting some value out of these conversations, go leave a review on our iTunes account for Video Game Podtimism. It helps us get the word out.
Say some nice things. We like
Say some nice things.
We like
don't fucking mean things. I don't care. Just give us a 5-star. I don't really give a shit what you say.
If you have mean things to say, DM us. Get it out.
That's true.
Get it out.
That's true.
It's okay to be angry, upset, but just
if we fuck something up big time, tell me, bro.
Just try to work through it. Try to work through it. Work with us. Help us help you.
Help us help us.
Help us help us, please.
So I think that's it. Next week, let's see. I think next week is the last week of Spooky Week. It'll be the last pod of Spooky Month.
It's also going to be a very special pod.
No, it's not true. We got 2 more. We have 2 more Fridays between.
The next one is going to be a very special pod.
The next one is going to be special because the 31st is a Saturday, and our pods usually drop somewhere between maybe Thursday to Sunday, depending on how busy my week ends up being.
Yeah.
But we could definitely just drop it on Halloween.
That's very spooky. That's extra spooky.
Deeply spooky. There's a lot of power in that.
Ooh. Okay.
So yeah, keep on keeping on with Spooky Month. We love it.
Keep on spooking, everybody.
David, do you have any gaming wisdom this week?
I do.
Okay.
And it is.
Yeah.
Don't let anybody tell you to rise from your grave. If you want to stay in your grave, go for it. Okay? Don't let anybody tell you what to do. You're a strong, independent, undead man with lots of muscles and a loincloth leotard thing going on. Okay?
Yeah.
Don't listen to some spooky wizard make you go and fight zombies. Okay?
I think it was Zeus.
You don't have to listen to Zeus to make you go and fight zombies. Okay? Zeus don't know shit.
I've been saying this for so long. Zeus don't know shit.
Zeus don't know shit. It's a real fact.
A lot of people won't tell you, but he really doesn't.
You don't.
I talked to Zeus a while ago, and I was like, hey, dude, do you remember what set off World War I? And he couldn't even tell me that it was Franz Ferdinand. The assassination of the Archduke Franz Ferdinand. He was like, I don't know, dude. Guns, bombs. I was like, Zeus, what are you doing out here, dude? What are you, like, what?
Yeah.
Did you go to school?
It's fucked up. We're about to be banned in Greece.
Yeah, the Greece... Oh, man. The Greece police are going to come get us.
Greece police? Oh, no. The Grecian Polician? The Greece police. That's really what you came up with.
Yeah. It came right to me. That was
Greece
nice.
Police.
Yeah, the Greece police are going to come get us and tell us that Zeus knows quite a bit and that he did actually go to school.
Are the Greece police the security for GapeCon?
Oh, God, I hope the Greece police are not the fucking security for GapeCon. Although, that would probably be
sense.
It would make sense canonically. in the Gape canon. The Gape canon.
Bro. Jesus. Oh, my God.
We gotta leave this meme alone. We're gonna have to define our pod as something other than this.
What was the acronym you came up with today?
It's the Podtimism Games as Profiles in Entertainment Zone.
The Podtimism Gape Zone.
That should be an award that we give out. The Video Game Podtimism Gape Award.
Games as Profiles in Entertainment. You've won the award, the Gape Award. Best gape.
It looks like it's spelled gape, but it's actually pronounced gape.
Gape. It's very different. The Podtimism Gape Zone.
Yeah.
Anyway, don't tell the Grease Police we made this episode. Goodbye.